Wall Street and the housing market ignore all the news, and Bitcoin and Ethereum are exploding. Let's talk about it. What's up, everyone? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, February the 7th. It is Super Sunday, Super Bowl. And of course, should be exciting, should be a fun game. In fact, I can't even make up my mind who I'm going to play yet. In the meantime, this first part of Bubba's Bottom Line will be brought to you by the CTG Group, one of our preferred brokerage partners. Now, again, I do have other brokers, but for for futures and commodities, there is nobody like CTG for us. They are the only authorized vendor of our letter of direction trading. They have some great managed products. If you want information, reach out to them direct, or you can email me and I will send you their information. In the meantime, they are my preferred. In fact, I prefer them so much, they trade 9 of my 10 portfolios. In the meantime, there is trouble brewing, but we are going to continue to ignore it. As we can see, new highs, and we'll talk about markets when we get there. But, as we talked about maybe a little bit last week, there is some tyranny going on, and that's with the fight for minimum wage. And that's just another way of the government trying to take over. Okay. What happened to what was supposed to be small government? In the meantime, okay, we've got this whole mess is taking place right in front of our very eyes, and we continue to ignore it. Now, again, minimum wage, it costs nothing to automate, okay? There is no benefits. There is no pay. There is no taxes, okay? And if you don't think it can be done, just check out a Little Caesars Pizza or a Domino's or some of or McDonald's now with all the automation, eliminating these jobs so that we'll have none, okay? The more the government gets involved with what pay should be, okay, the more it's going to force vendors and customers and businesses to automate. I mean, listen, machines don't take days off. They don't get benefits. They don't need hospitalization. I mean, why would I ever want to have an employee work for me if they're going to force my hand and tell me what to pay? Pay scale should be based on price discovery, just like markets. But of course, they like to continue to try to manipulate the markets as well. And if you don't think there's a manipulation going on, okay, first of all, the continued pounding into the money supply, okay, that money's got to go somewhere. Now, you tell me how we can have housing, okay, at highs not seen since 2006. Okay, you tell me how I can buy one house and in 14 to 16 months make 40%, buy another house and in 6 months make another 40 if I want to sell it. Okay, and that's what half the country closed down. So how did all this manage to work out? We've got evictions at record highs. Okay, we've got damage done everywhere. Small businesses are folding up, and yet housing is exploding. The markets are exploding. Interesting, but it only means that there is trouble brewing. And of course, we all saw the battle of Wall Street bets, Reddit's Wall Street bets. Okay, they came out with a story last week and said that they were going to create a short squeeze in the silver market, caused a dramatic panic on Sunday night into Monday. And before it was all said and done, after silver exploded higher for $3, it collapsed, closed lower the next day, and was basically flat for the week. So, once again, I tell you to ignore this BS news. This is just another way of creating a new government that was going to strip us of our every possession. Okay, I mean, I would bet you there is some big money behind these potential short squeezes. Okay. And we saw what happened with GameStop. We'll get into that stuff in the markets. But the overall it looks to me that there is a political agenda behind these short squeezes. Okay. These are the things that concern me. The more that gets taken away from a free market system, which we haven't been a totally free market system since Greenspan, the monster bubble builders that took over, because again, printing money is not the answer. Okay. Printing money does not create jobs. It does not create growth. It basically strips us of our money. Okay. It basically tells us that, oh yeah, you're making more money. Oh, but it's cost you more, but there's no inflation. Okay. Well, let's figure out how there's no inflation when, the cost of goods and services continues to rise. Okay. If you tell me you're not at 2%, that is like one of the biggest lies ever told. But because of the overwhelming money supply, it gets buried underneath the system. So, you can look at this any way you want, but this looks like the Wall Street beats, and this whole thing looks like a ploy from somebody trying to gain control and trying to bring more into the fold the ideas of socialism. Again, that's where very few have the money, and the rest are just the peasants. And I think that looks to be the creation that we're getting here. Open borders. Okay, OPEC is back now. Why do you think oil is going up? Because there's that much demand. There's not that much demand. Half the country's closed. Okay, so once again, prices are being manipulated. Okay, by OPEC and their group, when we could be producing our own oil right here. But of course, why wouldn't we want to get rid of all these employees, okay, and lay them off, okay? This is like almost a replay of what the Obama administration did with the coal workers, okay? No warning, no notice, boom, we're just shutting it down, okay? So, we can discuss any way you want, but you cannot beat the fact that we have turned our control back over to illegals. Okay, I mean, California's budget is 65% of the budget goes to the illegal aliens. Okay, so you tell me, okay, that you want open borders. Okay, you don't want any security. You want to continue to let the drugs and everything else flow through this country. Okay, well, if that's the country you want, okay, if you want to give up the power of the United States of America, you're on a good start to doing so. Okay, of course, as I've said, and I believe that this will lead to a revolution. We continue to try to wipe out the past. Okay, and instead of learning from the past, the new party wants to wipe it out. And what are the odds that it happens again, worse the next time, because they've wiped out history and they don't tell the stories anymore so that we can learn from history, like the Holocaust, like all the bad events that we have slowly but surely fixed over the years. And there's still a lot more work to do. But of course, now it's suddenly going to change, okay? But one thing that doesn't change is bankers, okay, and them taking special dividends, okay? I know that the Bank of America is divided right now with another special dividend. And, of course, banks are making money hand over fist because all the restrictions have been lifted on what their equity to debt has to be, what their lend out ratio is. And, you know that I didn't think they had enough to begin with to pass a stress test, let alone now when there is no limits. But how else do you think you get housing where it's going? Okay. How else do you think all this lending is going on? Because if I'm the lender and know that I'm backed up by the Federal Reserve and the ability to print more money, what do I care? I'll approve anybody, okay? Because it doesn't matter, okay? So why should I just keep approving new loans? Because I'm making money either way. If I'm lending out 25 times what I'm supposed to have in reserve, okay, then I'm making money. I didn't even all to pay. Okay. Half of them get to default. I'm still going to make a lot of money because I'm only lending out air. So we're allowing the banks to print more money as well in their own special way. So, look, you've got a lot of stuff going on here, but everything is leading up to a major boiling underneath the surface disaster in waiting. And I'm not talking about markets. I'm talking about humans. I'm talking about a real down-home, old-fashioned revolution. Okay? Go back and, if you still can get it, go read back about the Tea Party. Okay? I mean, because all I've seen so far is the prices go up at everything I do, and, of course, I've got to pay more taxes. Doesn't sound like a good combination to me. Okay? So all we're doing now is restricting the real faith and truth of free markets. And of course, you've got some of the big players jumping right in, wanting to help the government, okay, like Facebook, like Google. Why? Because if you create enough regulations, there'll never be a competitor. Okay? We no longer care about competition and free markets and about allowing a competitor to come into a market and actually maybe knock them off. Okay? They've already shown the ability to knock out any competition. And you put regulations on of companies that are already worth in the billions that have built. How is a small guy ever going to become competitive? It is no different than what Amazon has done. Now, the only good thing about Amazon is that they do have a chain that helps, small independent retailers that sell their own product through Amazon. Okay. But overall, all we're going to have is these behemoths because every small business has almost been forced to close. How can they exist? The stimulus money isn't going to do jack because the retailers, the restaurants aren't going to see them because where I am, there aren't any restaurants open. Okay. So, we can continue to hide from the troubles. Okay. We can continue to pretend they don't exist, but you can bet your ass they exist, and you can bet your ass there's going to be some trouble here. Okay, I mean, there's no way to avoid the impending problems unless somebody steps up. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, February the 7th, Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to step out here for a break, and we will be right back with our market report right after the break. Well, kids, we talked earlier about our brokerage partner for futures and commodities, about CTG, but our options and equities broker, Trader, phenomenal. Okay, I give you always the same 4 reasons, right? $10 a month. Okay, you can't beat that. Okay, great customer service. We've got their APIs. If you choose, it's totally your decision. You can automate our equity portfolios, and okay, they're giving you a free options webinar. We did session 4 yesterday. Okay. And you can get the recordings. I'm teaching a complete course of how to understand and trade options. Okay. So that's Trader and CTG, our 2 brokerage partners. I have accounts elsewhere. So again, it's full disclosure. In the meantime, don't forget about our partners at Family Farms. They've got their big event coming. And unfortunately, once again, it's going to be, at least this time, partially virtual. But I can't wait till we can get back out together and get on the road and actually educate and help our farming friends, because again, they're so busy with what they do, something is slip, and I would like to love to educate and help them realize more cash from what they do and protect what they get. And of course, our commodity report, Andy Heck, what can I say? He does a phenomenal job with the report. Okay. In fact, he's now become a regular with me on Monday night, but his results are spectacular, tying in with our algorithms and his data, okay, of being a 40-year commodity trader, physical commodities in places you didn't want to go, but, terrific. And of course, if you want to help us out with our high school program, it's at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That is patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and me with the market report. Welcome back. It is Super Bowl Sunday. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. And of course, We're going to have our market report, and this will be sponsored by Tradier, one of our brokerage partners, of course, for equities and options, $10 a month. Okay. Good customer service, great customer service. We have their APIs, automated trading if you choose, and free options courses. I don't know. Anyways, so last week we came into the week and we were short two of the indexes and long two of the indexes, and now tonight we'll be back to being long all four because once again, the markets go to new highs. Okay. Now, hey, look, it's not for me to argue. I'm going to just trade the numbers the way the numbers are. Okay. I am not going to argue with the market. Do I agree? No, but what difference does it make? I'm making money. We had a great week last week. Okay. But again, this is the point. This is why you don't argue with the tape. This is why you don't listen to the news, because there's no way anybody would want to be long here with what's going on. Okay. But yet there's the markets. They keep going. They keep going. They never stop. I mean, there is trouble, right? You're seeing Bitcoin, new highs. Ethereum, new highs. Okay. That's telling you there are troubles out there. The cryptocurrency space is telling you that they're pissed off and are tired of being involved with manipulated dollars. Okay. And I think the metals markets are giving you a little bit of that same message. Okay. And you can, we had, as I said, we had Wall Street bets take their shot and get it clobbered for it, and good for them. Okay. And then of course they said, no, it was fake news. All right. Well, whatever. Okay. But whatever caused the big squeeze, which I can tell you what it was the panic over the weekend that forced everybody to jump in and buy. At the end of the day, it ended up in the toilet. Okay, now we happen to be long it right now. Okay, now we were forced to reverse because of the pattern, but I would not be surprised to see us have to re-reverse and go back to the short side. But at $25, $26 silver, I'm not as concerned. All right. We remained short gold, and of course that was, oh my God, gold's going out, you're nuts. Well, guess what? Gold broke through 1,800 and made it back above. But at the end of the day, I think 1,750 is your next target, and we remain short. And platinum looks the exact opposite. Platinum looks like it wants to make new highs. It's not. It's 5-year highs is what their next target is, right? They made them. They're going to take that up. I think platinum looks like it wants to trade up to 1,200 or more now. Okay, and if you remember, at times, platinum was twice what gold is now. It's, well, not half anymore, but at one time it was half. Okay, so we're still long platinum. So long silver, long platinum, short gold. Bonds and notes were short both, and for the week they were moderately lower, but it doesn't really make sense. I think, again, this is more to the story of what's going on, because the bonds should be soaring higher. We're still short, but they should be soaring higher with the continued infusion of capital and with interest rates staying at zero. But obviously, there's a signal being sent here, okay? And maybe it's inflation. Maybe it's going to finally show. We'll see. I mean, just remember, the bond and the fixed income markets are the biggest markets in the world by 10 times, okay? Crude, as we mentioned in the opening, it's exploding, okay? Now we're in the 55 to 60 range, and this is all because of the new policies and no more fracking, basically. So, as I said before, we take and put our people out of work and bring in the OPEC world again, the criminals from OPEC who know nothing but how to steal. Nobody remembers when we had our first oil squeeze, and they stuck it to us. There was never a reason to think that there's plenty of oil, but this is where we're headed. In the meantime, crude could go. Who knows? I never thought we'd see 100 again. We could see 100 again, not tomorrow, but we could see 100 again. Okay, this is this is out of our control now. We're not the suppliers anymore. We've given up that right to take care of ourselves, and not to mention how many big jobs we gave up at the same time. Just ridiculous. Copper managed to be higher again. It got saved on Friday with a monster update as it was headed for a lower week. And in fact, we did reverse. We are now short copper. Okay. And a monster day on Friday was able to keep it from breaking down through the bottom. Now, I would suspect it's still probably going to head lower from here at some point. But hey, we have to, we'll reverse it. Not a problem. Natural gas, slightly higher. The cold weather, the snow. Weather is always good for nat gas, right? Adverse weather, if we could see a nice cold snap, have zero around the country, we'd see a big explosion in natural gas. But, it is what it is. And again, you have to continue to, really just follow the path, because at the end of the day, all markets are the same. That's the key. Okay. Charts and patterns repeat themselves over and over again. And, the grain markets, it was pretty much a mediocre, downish kind of week. Wheat had the most amount of trouble. Corn was pretty much flat and beans were down a little bit, but they're all at terrific levels. They still look good. Now, we are still long corn, long wheat, short beans. But beans are going to turn soon here, okay, with a rally. But at the end of the day, they've held support beautifully. And if you look at the patterns, which is really what you're looking at, the price action, they look terrific. So I would see no reason to believe, and again, I'd rather be long beans, but right now I follow the system. The meats, feeder cattle, mediocre, we're long. Fat cattle or live cattle, big up week again. Hogs, nice up week again, and we're long across the board. And in the softs, okay, cotton was basically higher, we're long. OJ was basically lower, we're short. Coffee was, I can't remember exactly because there was one big down day in there somewhere. But either way, we're long. Sugar was higher Friday and probably pretty flat for the week. We're long. And cocoa, I think, was also kind of flattish for the week, and we're short. Okay, it was up Friday though, but so we'll see. But just remember, okay, markets are markets. Okay, now we have a lot of manipulation that comes from the Federal Reserve. We have a lot of manipulation that comes from the government, just like the new package. Okay, and you've got these, I can't say criminal. Okay, but these attempts at making short squeezes, okay, are really in effect almost the same as like Greenmail back in the day before news flowed so fast. They're actually creating and manipulating and forcing these markets and forcing. It doesn't really punish the hedge funds. In fact, one hedge fund came out and showed they made, I think, 700 million. 70 million or something. Some ridiculous number. Okay, and it's not. You're not going to attack, hedge funds, so to speak, but it is a way, I think, that they are trying to take over and bring in and they're trying to destroy other people's wealth. Now, again, there's a lot of things I don't agree with either, with some of the funds and some of the way they have to pay taxes and some of the way it's based. But at the end of the day, again, I believe that the free market system would solve all those problems. Okay, I believe that if we let things happen, okay, and did not try to avoid recessions, then we wouldn't have depressions very much. We would have a few recessions, and it would destroy bad, weak companies and bring in new blood, which is what you're trying to do. That's how you continue to build. Okay, but in the meantime, it's not my decision. I don't get a vote for that. I only get the vote for the office, but I don't get a vote on how they're going to spend and blow my money, which is, fortunately, I don't have to worry about it at my stage in life, but certainly I am worried about the future for my kids, grandchildren, and any of your kids, any youth in this country. It's going to be a long road to hope. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we will be back with my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line on Super Sunday. Well, kids, we talked about trade here on the opening, and of course, CTG, which is our commodities and futures broker. Great outfit. Okay, I do have other brokerage accounts, but great outfit. Has great customer service. They're the only ones authorized to trade our portfolios through letter of direction. They've got some great managed portfolios, and they trade all my accounts. And of course, our partners at Family Farms, we both have the same goals in mind, which is to help farmers do better than they do. And when things are tough, how to protect themselves. And we're going to get out there, I promise. Eventually, they'll let me out of the lockdown. Okay. Maybe we'll get the vaccines, but Family Farms, check them out. And of course, our commodity pro with Andy Hecht, he is the number one writer at Seeking Alpha. And he's been in the industry for over 40 years. Been to places that he's had to go. Actually, he's had to go with armed security to some of the places where they trade commodities. But check out Technomental if you'd like to see last week's edition. I will send you a sample. Okay, and you can check it out. It's also at BUBBATrading.com, Technomental. And, of course, our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Super Sunday. And, of course, I always got something to say. I got some commentary. And, today it's going to be about the Federal Reserve, okay, because, it's amazing how what are supposed to be smart people go into an office and then become imbeciles, okay? I find it interesting that after, the best example is Jerome Powell, okay? He was a common sense guy, ran a fund. Now he's head of the Fed. He became a moron. It's amazing. And now they've got the queen of it. I mean, what a couple. They will blow our brains out without a problem, okay? Because they will continue with the same old theory that didn't work before. Now, you would think that these smart people might want to rewrite, okay, what it takes. They might want to realize that the Phillips curve is a piece of crap, okay? And then what they're doing is really destroying us, but they may not care because it appears to me that the goal is to have a worldwide digital currency for all governments, okay, similar to what the euro did with the euro currency, but now a global coin that can be manipulated. Okay, that is why we're seeing the big jumps in the cryptos again. Okay, this is why, because people are getting sick and tired of the Fed destroying our money by printing more. Okay, because what they do is nothing, and they provide no service. They provide nothing. Okay, and they certainly do not get growth or jobs out of more money. Okay, so maybe we could, Ron Paul and the Fed, can we at least audit the Fed? Okay, so to me, it's a crock, it's BS. But again, I can't change the system by myself, but it does lead to troubles brewing. That's the way I see it. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, and it is Super Bowl Sunday, and I really don't have a pick. Okay, I tell you what, it'll be totally based at game time. It'll be based, if the line is 3 or under, I'm taking Kansas City. If it's over 3.5 or over, I'm taking Tampa Bay. Okay, I mean, I got a lot of props I'm playing. Okay, but it's there. To me, there's no clear-cut choice. This one could it could be a dog game. There's been many dogs, but and I mean it bad. But it could be a very tight and exciting game. I mean, again, I would tell if I like somebody, I would, of course, I tell you, I always tell you, but I have no opinion here. Either side, I think Mahomes is great, playing against the greatest, or maybe the new greatest playing against the old greatest. Could be a great game. In the meantime, enjoy it. Have a great week. And, again, just always be careful. Don't try to outsmart the market. Go with the flow and be careful. Have a great week, everybody. Be healthy, be safe, enjoy the game. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later.